Let's go on to this then. We got Moana 2 being announced. This comes to us from Variety. Disney announced a sequel to Moana, which will be released theatrically on November 27th. The company's CEO, Bob Iger, revealed the news on CNBC ahead of Disney's first quarter of fiscal 2024 earnings report. The second Moana was originally developed as a TV series, but became a feature film because Iger was impressed by the footage. Moana remains an incredibly popular franchise, Iger said in a statement. We can't wait to give you more of Moana in Maui when Moana 2 comes to theaters this November. Couple things I want to bring up about this. I would have loved to have seen a Moana TV series. I think that would have been really cool. You could, I argue you could have done Moana 2 and a TV series if you wanted to. The other thing I was going to throw in was that thank God Moana 2 is happening and it's an animated film, because I did not want to see a Dwayne The Rock Johnson live action Moana, which I realize now was probably a red herring / it was Dwayne The Rock Johnson throwing out ideas because his Shazam movie was not working for him.
Supposedly it's still happening, though.
No.
They haven't. Supposedly it's still happening.
No.
Yeah. They haven't said it's been canceled.
But you know what then? Now I'm not as mad about it, just because at least I know they're not just giving up on a Moana 2. They're actually making it, and then they can make a live action Moana if they want to. Right. But don't do it for like 5 more years or something. I don't want to see that right now. Come on, man.
When we talked, go ahead. Sorry.
Oh, sorry. I'll finish with this. What a strange feeling it is to have done a movie and then like 3 to 4 years later, they're like, oh, here's the remake of the movie in live action. What? We did that with Aladdin from the 90s. All the 90s movies, we got our remakes. But that's because we took 20 to 30 years to put them out. So, sorry. Go ahead. What are you thinking, Raul?
No, Moana came out in 2016. So it has been a bit, but not long enough to, when we talked about this on the episode where they announced the live action Moana. And this was my complaint, is like, it's been a little bit, but not long enough that you can reboot it already. At least give us a sequel, And I remember I was saying that at the time, like, give us an animated sequel. Like, why are we rebooting this already? Here we are. It's almost, they announced it's going to come out in 2025 or something. I don't know.
Something
I don't remember
like that.
when they said. But here we are almost 10 years later, and now we're getting a Moana 2. Don't get me wrong. I'm glad. Thank God we're doing Moana 2. Moana was great. I mean, everybody loves it. It was like one of the highest streaming movies, either on Disney Plus or ever. I have to check that, but it was doing really well for a while, and people love this movie. My daughter's obsessed with this movie, and I have been wanting to see a Moana 2, an animated Moana 2, for a long time, and I think a lot of people have. And then when they announced this live action one, I mean, I was just like, okay, cool, but where's the Moana 2? Because they've done this a lot with the animated live action remakes for Disney. It's like, okay, Aladdin, Cinderella, whatever, but they made sequels. Granted, they weren't all great sequels, but they did make animated sequels to all their animated films before, years later, remaking them in live action. So I'm happy to see this, and it's interesting that it started off as a TV series.
Yeah.
And I guess Iger looked at it and was like, no, what are we doing here? This must have been something from the Chapek era.
Yeah.
We need to pump out stuff on Disney Plus.
Yeah.
I don't know. Is that right? Sounds right.
I will say that does kind of worry me, because Bob Iger's saying the thing looks cool, so he wants to make it into a movie. But I'm like, well, just because it looks cool doesn't mean it's got a good story to it. So that's the only thing I'm hoping really works itself out when it comes out. But yeah, I mean, if this was supposed to be a Disney Plus thing, like, my fear is, like, we're 90s kids. When we grew up watching an original Aladdin movie and then the TV series came out, it felt like a VHS tape series that was, like, not high quality and worth really watching all the time. Don't get me wrong. I grew up watching Aladdin, the animated series. Awesome stuff for me as a kid. But you go back now and you watch it and you're like, I don't... Like, you could see why they made this into a TV series rather than made a movie out of these stories. That's what I'm hoping for Moana 2, is that they kind of have a really good plot line to be representing and, like, presenting us. So I don't know. I want it to be really good. I'm
Yeah.
really hopeful for it. It makes me kind of want to watch the original Moana right now. But also because we're Puerto Rican, this movie kind of gives me a lot of like Islander vibes, and it makes me teary
Mm.
eyed because I'm like, man, I miss my island. Oh man. Every time Grandma sings and like I like to dance in the water, ba-da-da-da-ba-da-da," I'm like, ah, dude, you're gonna make me cry, dude. This is such a good movie, and it's so touching. My whole family, we all cried to it because all we could think about was Puerto Rico. But yeah, maybe I will go back and watch this. There's no
Well,
volcanoes exploding though.
you got the Lin Manuel connection. Although he's not
That
involved in
too.
this movie, he's not involved in the sequel. I think
Yeah,
the
what's up with
music.
that, huh?
Well, I think the music is being done by, oh God, who are they? They did the unofficial Bridgerton Broadway show or something like that, which I've heard great things about. So, but you got the Lin Manuel connection, and even God, what's her name? Carvalho, I
Oh,
think.
the girl who does the voice of Moana?
Yes, I think she's half Puerto Rican.
Is she really?
I think I'd heard something like that. I'm gonna have to double check that, but I think I'd heard she's half Puerto Rican, half like Polynesian or Pacific Islander.
That's pretty
Um,
cool.
yeah, it's pretty neat. Yeah, man, I'm happy we're getting Moana 2. I hope it's good. I hope there's a reason why they thought it was worth changing it from a TV series into a movie, and I hope that's because they genuinely thought it was good enough to be a theatrical film. So
Also, let me
thumbs
just
up for
add,
me.